Here is the resources for today's short sessions. Do take a look at the installation link, the sample employees file, the PowerPoint presentation deck, and also the link for these access security database apps. Call us for any information. Do schedule a consultation session now. Today we are going to go through very short sessions, how to create RPA to update new employees data into another platform, which is building access security data platform automatically. Let's get started. First one, we are going to go through a few steps into downloading Power Automate Desktop, which is the tools for these particular sessions. And then we're going to install it as well to go through very quick how to deploy and how to create. Okay, let's do it. Download the Power Automate Desktop. Click into the website and look for download. Once you are done, double click on the installation file and just follow through on the installation packages. Once it is complete, you can go to your start button and look for Power Automate Desktop. Here with me, I have created a lot of other flows. Typically, you would start off with by clicking on new flows, right? And then put in a name for your flow. For here, I would say, let's name it as building on the left-hand side is where you can see all the actions that you can use, right? Or you can type in the actions that you want. For example, let's say I want to launch a new Excel file. I can either click on the Excel and click on launch, or I can just simply type launch and click on the Excel. The middle section here is the canvas where every time you create an action, it will be listed down here. And on the right hand side is the more details panel of the actions that you created. Okay, let's get started. Let's see our high level action. First, we're going to need to get all the employees data. In this case, I already saved those data in an Excel file. Let me open the Excel file for you. You can see here, we have all the basic column lah. We have the names, the employee ID, the departments, the gender, access type, start date, end date, and authorized by. Of course, you can create more, right? After that, we will read the first employee data, and then we are going to open up the building access security page form, and we will populate the data. Later on, we will submit, close, and run for the next employee data. And we will do it until we finish. First, launch the Excel file. Click on Excel. Start with the document. Great. Next, we are going to read it. So again, you can type it or you can select from the list earlier. So let's read from the Excel worksheet. By default, it's an Excel instance, right? Of course, you can rename it on the naming convention later. It will be a range of cell. And let me open up the Excel file so you can see where does it start and where it ends. So it's going to start from column A until H, and then it will start reading from row number 2 until number 9. Column A until column H, row number 2 until row number 9. Click on save. Great. So we already get all the employees data. Now we are going to read the first employee data, and let's do it together. I'm going to put in a loop, so it can iterate into all the rows. what is going to iterate is the data table, which is the Excel data. And the variable products, I'm going to name it as employee data. Again, this is up to you, but for something that you recognize, then put something meaningful lah. So for each employee data in Excel data, first thing, it will open up the browser. So need to launch a new Chrome. Again, it's up to you what browser you want to use lah. Just make sure it is the latest version will do, and then the URL to my applications. Do the same thing, paste this URL into it. Windows state, I want it to be maximized, and save. So it opened up my applications for the building access management. Next, I'm going to populate that particular names from the Excel file into these forms. So let's take a look at this form first, real quick. How this form looks like. Great. Now I'm going to populate the names, employee ID, and the rest. But for this session, we will only do name, employee ID, and departments lah. The rest you can fill it up later. And after that, you click submit, and this will be the complete transactions for one employee. Okay, let's start off with the name. How do we do that? It's quite simple. Populate. It's a web form filling. I'm going to populate a text field. So what is the UI element? UI element is the field that I want to populate, which is the name. So what I need to do is to specify, I want this column, which I will do control left click. Great. I want to populate that text box there with my data from Excel. So do key in this particular formula. Great, you are done. That's for the first name. Let's do that for employee ID. Same step. Good, you are done. Now let's do department. A little bit complicated, but is quite straightforward as well. So for this particular department, we need to find out first from the Excel file which department the employee is. Then only we assign. You click here, right? So to do that, we need an if statement. The if statement will look for employee data column number 3. Column number 3 is equals to finance. If the column number 3 is equals to finance, what I want them to do is populate, click the radio button for finance, right? As simple as that. So first we will look at the Excel file, column number 3. Look for it. If it's finance, click on the radio button called finance. Let's do that for HR as well. Okay, great. So next is we already populate our forms. Now we need to submit. There you go. Everything is done. Now let's check on it first. So we have get all employees from the Excel file. You do a for loop for the first employee data, open up the apps forms, you populate, and then you submit, you close, and then you will run the next employee data. So we have done that. We launched the Excel, and then we read the first employee data, launched the new Chrome first, the apps, populate the field. We have the name field, we have the employee ID, and then we have the different departments. And after that, we click on button to submit and we close the forms, and then it will go to the next loop for the employee. The iteration will continue. Click on run. As you can see here, it is iterating, right? The first employee name, employee ID, departments, click on submit. And this loop will go on and on until it finishes all the employee data. Great. This is the end of this short sessions. I hope you learned something here. Here is the resources for today's short sessions. Do take a look at the installation link, the sample employees file, the PowerPoint presentation deck, and also the link for these Access Security database apps. Call us for any information. Do schedule a consultation session now.